It is 2026 and this game is 17 years old. And yet right now, thousands of people are playing it on Steam at any given moment. How is that possible? Any game that is around for that long would normally have a small, passionate community still sticking around, but since its release in 2009, Left 4 Dead 2 has outlived its spiritual successors, defined its own genre, and survived for nearly 2 decades with almost no official updates from its developer. So how has this game remained a titan of the co-op genre for so long, when countless newer, shinier games have faded into obscurity? The answer isn't just nostalgia. It's a lot more than that, with brilliance in its design, a revolutionary system that makes every single round feel unique, and a community so dedicated they've literally become the game's life support. To understand Left 4 Dead 2's incredible longevity, we have to go back to its birth, which was, to put it mildly, controversial. The original Left 4 Dead from 2008 was a masterclass in co-op horror. It was tight, atmospheric, and revolutionary. So when Valve announced a full sequel just 1 year later, the community was furious. It felt like a cash grab, a betrayal of the promise of ongoing support for the first game. There were boycott groups and a deep cloud of skepticism over the game's launch. But then, people actually played it, and the controversy seemed to just fade away. Left 4 Dead 2 wasn't some lazy expansion pack. It was a total refinement of everything that made the first game great. It gave us 4 new, equally memorable survivors: Coach, Ellis, Rochelle, and Nick, whose personalities shine through in every panicked shout and witty one-liner. It added new special infected like the Spitter, the Jockey, and the Charger, each one engineered to shatter established strategies and force you to adapt. And of course it added melee weapons. That satisfying, brutal crunch of a frying pan gave the close quarters chaos a whole new dimension. It was bigger and brighter, swapping the first game's film-grained darkness for the sun-scorched streets of the American South. From the frantic hotel fire and Dead Center to the hurricane-blasted swamps of Swamp Fever, the campaigns were just more diverse and told a better story. Valve didn't just slap a new coat of paint on their last success, they rebuilt it from the ground up, addressing the main criticisms of the first game while doubling down on its strengths. It was a statement. This wasn't just more content, it was a fundamentally better experience. But all of that is secondary to the real secret ingredient, the ghost in the machine that gives Left 4 Dead 2 its infinite replayability. I'm talking about, of course, the AI director. The director is way more than just an algorithm that spawns zombies. Think of it as a storyteller, a conductor, and a sadist all rolled into one. Its only job is to make sure that no 2 games ever feel the same. It does this by constantly monitoring player intensity. It watches your team's health, your ammo, how fast you're moving, and how much damage you're taking. It knows when you're feeling a little too confident, and it definitely knows when you're about to break. When things are calm, maybe you're breezing through an area and nobody's been hit for a while, the director gets bored and decides to spice things up a little bit. That's when you'll suddenly hear the shriek of a hunter or a horde that will pour in from the alleyways, forcing you into a desperate fight for survival. But if your team is getting absolutely hammered, low health, no medkits, barely scraping by, the director shows a flicker of mercy. It pulls back, it eases up on the common infected, it gives you a moment of quiet, and might even spawn a precious first aid kit right around the corner. This constant ebb and flow of tension is the heartbeat of the game. The director deliberately creates moments of calm just to make the next wave of chaos hit that much harder. It lets your guard down on purpose because it knows panic is a more powerful weapon than any zombie. The Director 2.0 introduced in this sequel was even smarter. It could manipulate parts of the level layout, blocking a path that was open last time and forcing you down a more dangerous route. It could even change the weather to mess with visibility and mood. This system is the engine of the game's longevity. It's why, even after 1,000 hours, you can never truly predict what's coming next. The true masterpiece of the AI director is how it uses the infected to force a very pure, very specific kind of cooperation. Left 4 Dead 2 isn't a game about your individual skill, it's a game about whether the group can survive. And it teaches you this without a single tutorial pop-up. Just think about the design of the special infected. Nearly every single one is made to incapacitate a player in a way that requires a teammate to save them. A smoker drags a straggler away until someone shoots the tongue. A hunter pins a survivor to the ground helpless until they get pushed off. A jockey steers you into a mob or off a cliff and can only be stopped by an ally. And a charger slams you into the floor, pummeling you until someone comes to the rescue. This is a masterclass in forcing nonverbal teamwork. The game constantly creates problems that can only be solved by paying attention to your teammates. You instinctively learn to listen for the audio cues, the smoker's cough, the hunter's scream, not just for yourself, but for everyone. You learn to cover your partners while they reload and share healing items, not just to be nice, but because a weak link threatens the entire team. This simple focus helps build real bonds, turning online games into sessions of shared victory and hilarious disaster. It is a stark contrast to many modern co-op games with their complicated skill trees and loadouts. Left 4 Dead 2's simplicity is its greatest strength. There are no levels, no talent points, and no grinding for gear. Everyone starts each campaign on a level playing field, armed with just a pistol and their wits. Success is all about communication, awareness, and teamwork. It's this pure focus on co-op that so many spiritual successors have failed to replicate. But for most games, the story ends when the developer moves on. But for Left 4 Dead 2, that's where the next chapter began. Valve's decision to integrate Steam Workshop turned the game into a never-ending content machine kept alive by its own players. The modding scene is the second pillar of the game's immortality. Want to play as your favorite anime character? There's a mod for that. Want to replace the tank with Shrek? There are thousands of mods for that. From simple cosmetic skins to entirely new weapons, the workshop is a treasure trove of creativity that keeps the game from ever feeling stale. But the biggest contributions are the custom campaigns. Talented creators have poured years into building new Valve-quality adventures that are completely free. Masterpieces like Urban Flight and Back to School offer sprawling campaigns that rival the official ones in polish and design. This allows veteran players to recapture the magic of their very first playthrough. This community dedication hit its peak in 2020 with The Last Stand, the first official update for the game in nearly a decade. And the most incredible part? It was made almost entirely by community modders working in collaboration with Valve. This update added a brand new campaign, over 20 new survival maps, new weapons, and a ton of fixes, breathing new life into the 11-year-old game. It was the ultimate proof of the community's passion. They were so dedicated that they became the developers themselves, ensuring the virus that never died would keep on spreading. The Left 4 Dead 2 formula was so good that it spawned an entire subgenre of co-op horde shooters. Games like Warhammer Vermintide, Deep Rock Galactic, and World War Z, just to name a few, all owe a huge debt to Valve's masterpiece. They took the core idea, 4 players against impossible odds, and ran with it, applying it to new settings, adding their own twists. And yet, none of them have managed to dethrone the king. Even Back 4 Blood, which I just made a video on that you should definitely go watch, was developed by Turtle Rock Studios, the original creators of Left 4 Dead, and struggled to recapture that same magic. Marketed as the spiritual successor, it added a deck-building card system for perks that many players felt overcomplicated the beautiful simplicity of the original. In the end, a lot of players just went back to the pure, replayable loop that Left 4 Dead 2 had perfected a decade earlier. The game's legacy isn't just in its direct successors, it's in its design philosophy. It proved that a game built around procedural generation and emergent moments could outlive its scripted competitors. It showed that focusing on raw, cooperative fun over complicated progression systems could create a timeless masterpiece. Its influence is a reminder that great games are built not just with tech, but with a deep understanding of what makes playing with friends so awesome. So why is Left 4 Dead 2 still a big deal in 2026? It's not just one thing. It's a mix of brilliant design choices. It's the AI director, an invisible puppet master making sure no 2 games are ever the same, creating a rhythm of tension and release that never gets old. It's the genius cooperative gameplay which uses its enemies to teach an unspoken language of teamwork. It's the simple, pure fun of its core loop, which avoids the grind of modern progression systems. And most importantly, it's the community. A passionate, creative group of players who have taken ownership of the game, pumping out a near limitless stream of new content that keeps it fresh 17 years later. Left 4 Dead 2 isn't just a game you play. It's a machine that generates stories. Stories of impossible clutches, hilarious wipes, and last-second rescues. It's a relic from an era of gaming that put replayability and fun first. It's a no-nonsense zombie shooter that's all about fun all of the time. It started as a controversial sequel, but became a timeless classic, the benchmark for every co-op shooter that followed. But if you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't already, leave a like and comment below your thoughts on Left 4 Dead 2, and if you still play it to this day. I would also appreciate if you hit the subscribe button for more videos in the future, as well as to help me hit 2,500 subs. But thank you guys so much for the support you show on the channel. I truly appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next one.